All right, guys. Hey, this is Leah with Leah's Table. And for the month of February, I am going to be cooking what is in my freezer so that I can clear out my freezer, make sure that my pantry and my freezer are being used properly. So I'm here, what I'm going to do here is cook uh, Parmesan chicken. I had the chicken thighs in my freezer and I had the Parmesan cheese. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm removing the skin and any excess fat that's hanging on the chicken thighs, and I'm just deboning it myself. You could leave the bone in if you wanted to. It just takes a little bit longer to cook the chicken, but I like to have it as flat as possible. So, with the chicken already deboned for me, or me deboning the chicken, I'm just gonna add some parchment paper or some plastic on top. I could not find my rolling pin, so I used a heavy can of crushed tomatoes. You want to kind of get this chicken thigh, or you can use chicken breast. I'm a chicken thigh girl, as thin as possible, or even just flat completely across the board. That's the key for me. Now, typically you would have your panko and your flour and your eggs all in one thing. I got time for that. Put them eggs right in there with that chicken. Put your oil on, stir up them eggs, get that egg batter all over your chicken. Then you're gonna dip it in your flour, and I use panko breadcrumbs. You don't have to use panko; you can use just regular breadcrumbs. I just like the crunchiness of panko breadcrumbs. And for me, it was just an easier setup to just have the eggs already on the chicken, and then I dip it lightly in the flour. You don't want too much flour or too much panko. You want even on all sides so that you are not having like this caked on batter on your chicken thighs. So you're going to take your eggs already sopping wet, dip them in the flour, and dip them in your panko. Here I'm laying it out on my skillet, whatever side you want down. I can usually fit two or three on there at a time. It just depends on how many you're going to cook at one time. You just do not want to overcrowd it. So I'm going back and I'm showing you that I'm lightly just grazing it with a little bit of flour and then a little bit of panko on both sides. You just want to make sure it's coated, just not thick. Now I cook these until golden brown on each side. That make sure that the chicken is completely done. It needs to be at a temp of like 150, 160. I'm putting it on that tray to drain as I put in the last batch of chicken to get that done. Now I am cooking chicken parmesan that I don't know if my kiddos have had before. As I said before, I'm a foster parent, so I never know what my kids have been exposed to. So this is something new from me that I'm giving them. They said they like chicken and cheese. We're gonna see how well this goes over with them. So here is me flipping that piece of chicken over and cooking another two pieces. I cooked about six pieces total. Now I like fresh mozzarella. You don't have to use that if you don't want, but I'm doctoring up some store-bought sauce with some Trader Joe's seasoning, some cilantro, some salt, and some minced garlic. Mix that up. Tastes just like you made it yourself, kinda. But I'm not trying to make this a very expensive chicken parmesan. So next, after the chicken has cooled down a little bit and I check the temperature, make sure it's all done, I'm going to put the the tomato pasta sauce from the jar, or you can use crushed tomatoes from a can, totally up to you. And then I'm gonna put Parmesan cheese on all of them and mozzarella, fresh mozzarella on three. I know that one of my kiddos for sure does not like stringy type cheese, but he really did adore the Parmesan cheese on his chicken, just not the mozzarella. That was a no go for him. So you can put as many pieces as you want, as melty as you want it to be. I ended up turning it around and putting two pieces of mozzarella on each piece of chicken, and the sauce, and I did that on three of them. Then you're gonna stick that under your oven and under your boiler for about 10 to 15 minutes or so, and then you just serve it up. I mean, it's really just that easy to cook and eat. And I want to say this meal cost maybe about $9. The cheese was probably the most expensive part of the meal. But again, I had these chicken thighs in my freezer. The only thing I had to buy extra was the cilantro and the vegetables because I didn't have any vegetables. Turns out the kids really liked it. Two out of three ate it all. One of them, she just picked over it. And that's common. That's okay.